everybody. Happy Thursday. Sorry, we're a couple minutes late. They changed our streaming platform and we had some technical difficulties. Welcome to the world of online, right? Okay, well, and if you're here, it's because you are interested in the topic that I'm talking about today. And honestly, this is one of my favorite topics. I know you guys, a lot of you know me for wholesaling. I'm probably a wholesaling queen because I started wholesaling before it was even wholesaling. I'm kind of the pioneer. I'm the oldest one in age and experience that has still in the wholesaling world because I started over 30 years ago. However, today we're going to talk about private money. And this private money actually took my business to the next level overnight. Okay. So I want to share with you how that happened and how you can hopefully incorporate it into your world. So, what happened is, so let me give you a little brief history, very brief, okay, about how it came about for me. So, I basically was going out there and I did a lot of things from rentals, and I went into wholesaling and did some fix and flip using hard money. And I hated it. You know, back in the beginning of the 90s, hard money, you think is expensive now. You should have seen it back then. The junk fees were high, 15 to 17% interest rate to borrow hard money. It was really bad. So at the end of the day, I did a couple of fix and flip, and the hard money lender started making more money, was making more money than I was. So I said, I'm never going to do this again. So I went back into wholesaling in the mid 90s, and I did that for a few years. Now, in the process of wholesaling, what happened is I connected with a lot of cash buyers, right? People buying my property to fix them up, or landlords and so forth. So I start talking with them and say, hey, do you want to partner with me? And then we can do deals together. You know, I come across all these properties. I have a crew that could fix up these properties. I knew what I was doing. So I was like, you just put up the money and hands off, and we're going to do it together. So it worked so well. I did that with a handful of people back in 97, and from 97 till about 2001. It worked so well that in 2001 I said, wait a minute, what if I could do it in more? What if I could bring this to a higher level? What if I could have more people giving me money so I can invest and buy more property? So I went in 2001. In Golden Nugget here, guys, I talked to title companies I was working with. I talked to mortgage brokers. I talked to real estate agents, anybody I knew that had connections with investors. And I said, you know who they are. You know the ones of them have the money. I'd like to do a meeting. And if you can bring them to this meeting, okay, I can explain to them how they can make even more money. And so we organized this meeting. It was in July of 2001, and I called it the Meeting of the Minds. And I had invitation going out to people just to say something simple like, you know, like to have a meeting and offer you the opportunity to really invest in real estate without investing in real estate, right? Because they didn't have to buy buildings. So that's how I got really that. And I did this meeting, and we had about 25 people in the room. They were referred to me by different sources beside my own, you know, the one cash buyers that I had. And I had about six people that night agreed. Probably I would have had more if I knew I had a better idea what to present it. But hey, in the beginning, a lot of time you throw it out there and see what sticks, right? So I didn't really know if this concept was going to work. So I had six that night that signed up to be my private lenders. And with that said, I created a small tight community of lenders. So these private lenders were more like money partnerships. And eventually, this is where you want to work to. You don't want to work with private lenders as you would do with a bank, right? You want to work with people that you have a little more control so that you can go to an auction in the morning and by afternoon you have the money. So you can go to a bank and buy all their foreclosures, all everything they have on their portfolio. So you can go to an owner and say, I can close as soon as the title comes back in 3 to 5 days. And then they will take a bigger discount on the property. So in order to have that control, you have to have people that have the money, private money. So we share with you a PDF here at the beginning of the week. And if you don't have it or you can't find it, please comment here in one of our put PDF, and one of the assistants will make sure you get it. And it talks about how to leverage other people's money. Talks about in other ways that I've done it with my rentals. Anything from owner financing to lease options. And it talks about the best practices to do that, and also other people resources. So there is a lot of information. I'm scanning for the PDF right now. And there are some blank pages here for you to take notes. Okay. So I'm going to cover mainly these blank pages here because, just to stay, because there's so much here that we could be talking when it comes to private money. Okay. But let's talk about money partnership, because this is one of the blank pages here in your PDF. So make sure you download the PDF, comment PDF to make sure you get your thing. It goes into a lot of other things. But let's talk about money partnership. So in 2000, starting in 97, I went in to basically say, you put up 100% of the money. I have the property. I can find the property. I supervise the work. I sell the property, and we split 50-50. Worked well. I was being generous, honestly, because they came up with all the money. They don't check your credit. They don't, you don't have to have any quote unquote skin in the game, right? So they just come up with the money. So I was okay with that. Then I did that for a few years. And in 2001, I had accumulated experience of doing this. I could walk into a room and I showed them closing statements of the deals I had done using my handful of money partnerships. So it was easy for me to get more money. Now, I didn't get as many as I should have out of the 25 that night, because honestly, I wasn't prepared. Okay. I wasn't prepared with some of the questions that they were asking. Now, for example, how is my money protected? What if I need to liquidate quickly? Right? What is the turnaround time? And some other questions like that. So I wasn't protected. I wasn't ready because I hadn't done this before. And I never really put too much effort into something until I know it works. I do that with real estate too. So I got 6 people, and then from that I all of a sudden had $700,000 available to go purchase property, and under this money partnership. Now, I didn't give them 50%. At this point, I was just giving them ROI, return on their investments, which was anywhere from 10 to 12%. So if I borrow $100,000, they will get back within 1 year, their 100,000 plus 10 to 12 on top of that, 10 to 12,000. However, the other thing you want to do when you work with money partnership is under promise and over deliver. Okay. So yes, I had a year of use of this money by property. However, most of this property will close in 6 months and less from the time I purchased it to the time the rehab. And guess what? I still gave him the 10%. I still gave him the year. What that did for me is that these people start investing more and more. And I knew some of these people had unlimited funds, basically. All right. But, in the beginning, they're not going to invest with you 100%. They're going to give you only what they think, they want to see how you do things, which is understandable, right? So all of a sudden, it started opening up more and more and more. So when I reached 10 investors, money partnership, I kind of closed the doors, and I had a waiting list because my first 10 investors didn't want anybody else into the club, as they call it. We were rolling our money, growing our money, and so forth. And then I opened up to more, but they really, I had to ask basically that if that was okay, because I didn't want to make them mad. So that's how my money partnership went. So with that said, we started getting into new developments, constructions. We did rehabs. We did fix and flip owner occupant, fix and flip for other landlords. We did a lot of things. And so money partnership is really built up my business. Until then, I started having my own money to invest where I didn't need as much as money partnerships, right? So that was one of the things. The thing about working with money partnerships, though, is that I like the fact that, sometimes being an investor is a lonely business. You're the only one out there doing anything in the field. There is nobody else to talk to that are understanding and are at your level without being competitive against you, right? So it's really a lonely business. So I've been doing now my own partnership, my own money thing for years, and with my own funds, and I deal with different type of real estate, a little higher end now. I am going to open again next year a small club for money partnerships again because I'm just tired of being alone. I like to work in a community of other people and women doing the same thing. So if you're interested in that, comment as well, and we can get you more details. We're going to start it here at the beginning of the year, and it's going to be only 10 of us again. And I already have several ladies that want to be part of it. So if you're interested, that's another comment, and we can get you more into that. And we're going to invest money into more, fix and flip some homes, regular homes to higher hand and so forth. And I'll be with you. So that's another chapter that I'm offering out there. Now, going back to then some of the other money is then you have what they call institutional private money, right? Um, so basically, they are a lot of time you meet these, especially what is a hard money lender? Hard money lenders are usually people that know 99% of the time. They're people that know other people with money. That's it. That don't have the money themselves, they know other people. So one of the things started happening with me as I was out there working with my own private money partnerships. People were asking me, okay, well, I have a property here that I would like to get it fixed up, but I don't have enough money, or I would like to buy that property. So I became a hard money lender because now I knew people that had the money, and some of them were saying, "Sure, yeah, I can loan out the money." Especially if you get the first position. We got some second positions as far as liens, but the equity was really good, right? So I became a hard money lender, kind of just by chance, because I had more money than property, which is a good problem to have. And so I said, sure, we can start loaning money out as well. Okay. So that's how you become a hard money. And that's what the institutional private money lenders are basically people that hide behind some third party, which is a hard money lender that brokers their money out. And this hard money lender makes money on the junk fees, makes money on a surcharge on the interest. They might borrow the funds for 8% and loan it out to you for 10%. So that's how it works. So that's another ramification eventually as you go out there and become a private money lender. Now, lease options and owner financing. So let me share with you how I use that. So back in 91, I moved, I don't want to go back into my story, but I was a real estate broker in Hawaii, doing really well. And I did some house hacking, as they call it. And I flipped one deal, which was a wholesale deal, but I didn't know it was. It was a probate property I wanted to buy for myself, but I ended up that we had to move back to the mainland. So I sold the contract, made about $75,000 on it. But I thought that was kind of a fluke thing. It was once in a lifetime, never happen again. Okay, right. That's wholesaling. But anyway, so I came back to the mainland in 91 and I wanted to get into rentals. I liked the fact of having passive income. I had two very small children at the time. Liz was only 2 years old. I had a baby, it was 4 or 5 months old. I didn't really want to go get a job. I didn't want to really sit at home. I've always been very active, but I wanted something that gave me the flexibility and the passive income, so I didn't feel like I had to rinse and repeat all the time. So I started going out there and finding properties. So now let me say one thing. I educated myself. Okay. One of the favorite quotes I like is by Tony Robbins that says, find somebody who has achieved success with what you want to do and then follow them and you'll be successful as well. Simple to think about, but most of us, right, don't do it, right? So I but I knew it back then too. So I had research people, and back then there was no internet, so researching was a little more of an effort. But go to the bookstores and read books and read stuff. But I had come up with two or three people that I read their books, and anything that had in the title "No money down, nothing down," I would buy it. Okay. And so I took a lot of ideas from different people and I went out there in the field and implemented it. See, that's the thing. That's the difference between a lot of people that are successful and a lot of people who aren't. The people that are successful implement. They don't, Liz has a quote, do it messy, right? You don't wait for all to cross the T and dot the I's. You go there and do it, guys. Okay, so that's what I did. I took the little information I had and ran with it. So I did set of mistakes. I did not have anybody to ask questions. I didn't have anybody to go to beside lawyers who were asking for retainers, and sometimes I had to do that. But there was no coach or mentors really back then. So I took the information, and one of the things that picked in one of my readings, golden nugget here, is was from Carlton Sheets. He came out with a late night infomercial. It was No Money Down or something like that. He passed away a few years ago. But he had a concept in there, and there was a VHS tape that came into a late night infomercial. And I still have that tape, by the way, to this day. And I have a VCR too, because I have some tapes, But one of these, it was about this tape is about quick action, quick plan, something like that, and it talks about how he would get the Sunday paper, again pre-internet, okay, get the Sunday paper, circle up any properties that were for rent and for sale by owner, and then he would call these people up, the for rent ones, and ask them and say, okay, I see you are advertising for rent on this property. Would you consider maybe selling the property in the future? Okay, so what was he doing here? He was introducing the idea of lease options, right? Lease option to buy. So he would have his conversations with them, and he films him sitting at the kitchen table with one of those phones that had the long wire, right, connected to the wall. This again, the cell phones were really very limited at that time too. I know it's hard to believe. But he did that, and he had really good success. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do that. I didn't have any preconception notion. I didn't hear anybody saying that wouldn't work, blah, 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 to go to. No, I did it. And by going out there and having conversations with people, with landlords and for sale by owners, within about a year and a half, by the end of 92, I had over 40 doors, multifamily properties, bringing in $10,000 a month net after everything. Now, in 92, that was good money, right? $10,000 from passive income. Now, in real estate, as you go out there, one thing pulls to another. You get to know things. You get to start thinking outside the box. Okay. So, I read books. I went out there and implemented. So there was a combination of things that I did. I did lease option to buy. I did some sandwich lease options. Now they are called arbitrage. I did owner financing in first and second position. I did contract for deeds. I did subject twos. I did some assignments where I was taking over properties. So taking over mortgages, you can't do that anymore. It was an assignment back then. An assumption. I'm sorry, assumption. So I did all kinds of different things, but I didn't know before I went into. I learned. Like I said, unfortunately, sometimes I had to have a lower retention because I would do some things that were not really probably should be doable, but you don't have to do all that. That's why you should hire somebody that has been successful in what they're doing and do what they're doing. Basically, don't hire a mentor or a coach who are very good at talking, but there is nothing there to prove, and trust me, I know a lot of people in the industry that are teachers, but they're not investors. Okay. So with that said, I built a portfolio using this type of strategy for my rentals. And in the course of doing this, I also came up in a situation where there was this two family, was an REO foreclosed by the bank. And I was sitting at the closing table, and I realized that the name on the contract was not the same name on title. And so I asked the broker, I was like, what's going on here? Right. And he said, I'm flipping the property to you, which nowadays called wholesaling. And what did I say? Can I come and work for you? And that's how I learned about wholesaling. So that's the thing. Always find somebody who's doing something that you want to do and go learn from them. Okay, so big golden nugget here. So, but that's how I navigated. And like I said, in the PDF, it goes into a little more details, but I wanted to cover the areas in the PDF where we have some blank pages. And basically, the core at the end of the day, that's what I did. That's how I did to build my rental portfolio. That's what I did to do fix and flips. By the way, the money that I used to buy these properties, I didn't fix and flip all of them. I wholesaled a bunch of them because, first of all, there were too many properties for me to just fix and flips. By 2002, we were doing over 20 fix and flips at the time. And I decided that some of them I was cherry picking the one, and then the other one I would wholesale. So that also opened up the door for wholesaling, where I was doing 12 plus wholesale deals a month. You go through phases in your life, okay, depending on where you are. I started with rentals. I went into some fix and flip using hard money. I went into wholesaling, went back into fix and flip, went back into some rentals, paid off my rentals using the wholesaling. And now at this point, I went in for pre-foreclosure prevention and short sales. And now at this point in my life, I am doing higher end properties, 1 million plus on fix and flips. I do less, but you make more money. But it depends on the area you are. I mean, obviously, I live in an area where there is a high demand for multi-million-dollar properties. Now, with that said, you don't have to do that. You can, most of you will probably start with the average fix and flips and average, ways of doing deals. So I hope I share some good information. I like to share more from my personal story instead of just telling you things out there that what is possible. And the PDF goes into more of a list of different things, but I want to share more in the story and practically what you do. And so now I do mainly personal funds, and I have some business lines of credit if I have to bridge in between. And like I said, I am opening up to some private lenders situations next year, and it's more because I really like to work in a community if possible, and I like to have other people. It's more fun. It's more fun. It gets to a point where it gets stale and boring, and people ask, "How can you get boring during making money?" Trust me, you can. Okay, so I'm going to now get into raffles here. So hopefully this was interesting. So I want you to share into the chat some of the takeaways that you have here, some of the questions that you have, and so forth. Also, my team, I know some of the other platforms I'm not, the only thing I've seen on my chats is I think Facebook and LinkedIn. So, but any other questions, go ahead and share them into it. Now, let's go ahead. Let's see. So, guys, if you can clarify who the raffle winner is, just please make it clear for me so I can see that. But in the meantime, I go ahead and pull up the prize for this week. So let me share my screen. Hopefully you can see it. Let me see if I can make it bigger. Well, that one wasn't good. Side by side. I'm trying to make it bigger. Okay. Hopefully you can see it. Can everybody see it okay? So what is included is a couple of cool things. Oh, yes, by the way, we wrote a book. You see it here behind me, and that you're going to get that in the raffle. So this book is a collection of stories of women that have inspired me at the beginning of my journey. And also Liz, she has some women more her age that she is, that have inspired her. Some of them, one of them has over 300 rentals right now, and she's, a younger millennial. Other women that inspire me at the beginning of my career that I have to thank for where I am today. I think I would have given up, or I would have not gone down this path with real estate if I hadn't met these women that inspire me a lot. So their stories are in there. I interview one of them. I interview her daughter, Vi Dolman, is the first woman that ever really inspired me. Unfortunately, she passed away, but she passed away in 98, And on her deathbed, she got her last check from a real estate sale. And then another lady, Donna Viking, she's still alive in her 90s, doing amazingly as a real estate broker in Hawaii. So moral of the story, in real estate, you live a long life. Okay, so stay in real estate. And then some other women too, their stories. So it's very inspiring. There is a lot of takeaways. At the end of each chapter, we go into the takeaways you can learn from their story. And the final chapter is putting it all together of how you can use it in your real estate career. So it's a really good book. We just launched it last month. So you'll get a copy of that. For the one that of you cannot get a copy, just look it up on Amazon. Just put in my name and it will pop up on Amazon. We're also giving you a pen kit and a bullet journal. So really cool stuff. I know that my team does an amazing job at finding really cool gifts. Now, for the one I'm going to be calling, you have to email in. You have 1 week to do so, to email in to claim your prize. And her name is Julia Harmon. So Julia Harmon, if you're here, please let us know you're here. Otherwise, if you're watching replay, make sure that you email in to really get your prizes. Thanks, Dana. Thanks for the encouragement and the fact you like the book. Okay, great. So now we're going to take a couple of questions here. And then anybody here in the assistance team, go ahead. Now, if you want to know more about private money, okay, if you want to know more the steps that I did, I will share exactly with you the steps. We are having a workshop next week. So we are having a workshop. It's going to be on, I believe, I am looking at my calendar. Sorry. Yes, the 19th at 8 p.m. Eastern. So if you are interested in learning more exactly how the steps on doing it, and I will do actually a special thing for you when you come in next. I will share with you my own the invitation that I actually use to get people in the room to give me their money. So this is very special. I will do it only on the workshop that you're going to attend next week. Okay. So that's it. The behind. I kept it all these years. I kept it. This was pre-internet, but the invitation, they got people curious enough to come in the room. And I think I also have one of the flyers that I use to give to people to get them excited to come and give me money. Okay. So I will share with you guys. So make sure you attend the workshop next week. And that will be a really interesting information. Okay. Now, I'm also going to share with you some of the laws that you need to do, because you have to be careful when you do raising money, especially with the SEC and the IRS. You have to be careful to do it in a certain way. So I will share with you some special things that I had to learn the hard way, paying attorneys to help me, and I will share with you for free. So a lot of good stuff next week for you to do it, because it's not as simple to go out there and say to somebody, hey, can you give me the money? You have to do it the right way. Okay. So let me see here if I see any questions. Gina is asking, how did you know how much to tell your investor that they would receive back when investing money with you? Well, you kind of figure what is your average profit on a property, right? So if you have done it before, in the beginning, like I said, I did 50-50 on the profit part, but then I kind of understood, I was going for obviously the same type of properties. So I decided that what I was going to give them ROI on their investment. So I figured if they were making, 5, 6, 7% from stocks and bonds or whatever investments, if I was giving them 10%, that was so much better, right? So, but that's what I did. But in the beginning, I did what I had to do, but remember, I was under promise over delivering. So very few time I went for a full year of their funds. Most of the time were well under a year. So they would make basically 20% if they rolled their money again into another investment, which most of them did. Pretty much all of them, honestly. Okay. So let me see any comment. such great info as usual. I want to get lots of rental. Yes, yes, you can definitely. Remember, there is a such thing as called arbitrage, which is basically combining lease options with sandwich lease. And that's how I really got started. But as you go out there, guys, and talk with people, that's the thing in this business. Have conversation. Go out there and talk with people. One thing will get you to another and get you to another and so forth. Okay. Um, okay. Great. I don't see, let me check in my message from my team. I don't see any questions. So, yes. So, this is very helpful. Don't forget to go ahead and join the workshop next week. We have a lot of great information for you. And I will talk to you soon. Take care.